Kayla Mouton, reading the home of Louisiana's first Democratic governor, Gov Mouton, in Lafayette, Louisiana.
This is fabulous. So the owner would have stood up here, overlooking everything that went on his property. This had to be very early too. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm here on the third floor of the Mouton Museum, and it's just absolutely fascinating. I'm just going to go ahead and just start saying what I see in my head, and there's a lot of aesthetics to take you back in time here, and everything has a lot of energy attached to it. So it's it's a lot to take in all at one time and then interpret that. But I do have to say that I dressed appropriately, because there is a woman that I see who is all in black with the petticoats and very barreled out with it too. I see her here. I get this overwhelming feeling of stress going on with her. So could be someone died, could be she knew someone who died, and also I hear bells. I hear big bell ringing as very predominant. And I also feel like gentlemen would have hung out here. So I see that lady here, but somehow she's out of place. And I feel like this would have been, the men would have hung out here. So this is appropriate. I feel this cigar is appropriate here, because there was some smoking going on. I also see a man who's elderly, with big gray lamb chops, balding with gray hair. And even though it's I'm surrounded by men in uniform, he could have very well been in a uniform. And he also just would have been elderly here. I was expecting someone younger, because I guess all the portraits, and you try not to think but to feel, but I see him in my head as though this man would have been elderly. So I guess we're talking 1800s at some time here. And I also, I don't know whether this fell into disrepair, this top part, at some point in time, because I see birds up here. So this is me thinking that maybe with the disrepair the birds might have flew in. I'm not sure, but I do see birds up here as well that would have gotten in here. And there's also something important to do with these bottles that I see. So I'm not sure if there was something that was maybe manufactured nearby, and I see these bottles here, but there's something that was made here and was put into bottles. It's a kind of manufacturing of something. And this might have been in later years. This might not have been, this might have happened later on. Yeah, but definitely was like this little area, and going up there was a man's world. That's for sure. So I think I just want to want to talk about these areas on either side as well. And I think we'll go in the room that's in front of us here. A lot to take in. I need a moment to kind of take it all in. On birds, but I've seen some chickens running around this house.
Yes, that would be.
I did see, and when even up that far, like a chicken would have flew up.
And different families as they came added on different areas.
Okay, and it seemed like it was kind of, and I know it is crude, but I felt it was cruder up there than what it is.
You would be right.
Up there where the pergola is. My specialty is reading photographs, objects, and people get me. I've been to read. I read for an antique shop, some things. So it's like I could be here for like a month. And of course, I mean, unless, like you said, that belonged to her. So unless you know the whole crop,
it's a big story.
Yeah, right. It's just you can't. Unless you could verify what I'm saying by knowing about that particular.
History, I would have to walk around and tell you.
Right.
Which things
but just it's like there's so much.
It's amazing. Grandmother was an antique appraiser and collector, and so you're kind of the same thing, but.
Right. And I've read
where it actually comes from. Right. It's amazing to me.
And I've also read when I was in upstate New York, and I was there on vacation, really. And I had two ladies that were doing a genealogy. So they found out what I was. I said, can you help us with our genealogy? And I didn't know. I never did it. They gave me these huge photos like this of their family from the 1800s. And I got some stuff right of like people's professions and that sort of thing. And then I found out I could read headstones, and they didn't have a picture of the person, they had a picture of the grave, then I read the picture of the grave.
That's fascinating.
So places I've been into with the whole house. So can you imagine that?
You just never know.
You just don't know. But there is a young woman that I see in here, but she's speaking French. And there's another, and you said Creole because she's another, maybe they were like 13 to 16, and she's got a white kerchief and all that, and she speaks 2 languages. And she's in there with the young girl. They look very peasanty, and she's speaking French. And yeah, you're right. They brought some sort of animal in. It might be like a calf or something, like to nurture it, like to feed it. It was sick. It almost used this as though there was to take care of animals in this little building as well. So that's interesting that this would have almost been a vet place at one time.
Maybe so.
You know, it's just, I know when you go there.
Due to time constraints, Kayla Mouton was not able to finish her reading at Gov Mouton's Museum in Lafayette. However, Kayla was invited back to the museum to finish her readings, and stay tuned for future YouTube videos where you can watch Kayla finish the read at the Mouton Museum. Y'all enjoy. Thank you, Lafayette. Cheers.